Mount Rushmore is presented not just as art, but as an unparalleled masterpiece of engineering, carved from a mountain face. Unlike meticulously detailed statues, Rushmore appears almost naturally formed, a testament to the colossal scale of the work. The monument seems to emerge organically from the mountain itself, rather than being the product of a sculptor's chisel. However, its creation was a marvel of engineering, accomplished not by artists, but by gold miners with no artistic training. This team of miners brought the giant heads to life using dynamite, pneumatic drills, and ingenious engineering techniques from 1927 to 1941. The video will reveal how they transferred the design onto the mountain using a clever system inspired by ancient Greek technology. Remarkably, this dangerous 14-year project was completed without a single fatality, a true feat of safety and planning. To understand its origin, we rewind to the 1920s, when the young state of South Dakota was struggling to attract attention and tourism. The state's economy was weak, and it desperately needed a landmark to put itself on the national map. State historian Don Robinson conceived the idea after seeing tourists flock to a new sculpture at Stone Mountain in Georgia. He contacted sculptor Gutzon Borglum, proposing a massive carving of American West heroes like Buffalo Bill, Lewis, and Clark. Borglum, however, believed that figures of national importance, such as U.S. presidents, would attract far greater attention. In the summer of 1925, Borglum scouted South Dakota and discovered Mount Rushmore, a 150-meter high cliff of fine-grained granite. He instantly recognized it as the perfect canvas for his grand vision, praising its durability and south-facing position for maximum sunlight. With the location secured, Borglum created a detailed 1/12 scale plaster model of the four presidents, Washington, Jefferson, Roosevelt, and Lincoln. The next challenge was immense: how to transfer this small, precise model onto a gigantic, rugged, and completely inaccessible cliff face. The site was utterly undeveloped, lacking roads, electricity, or any way for workers to even ascend the mountain. So, in 1927, the first step was a massive infrastructure project. A road was built to the site, and a whole town with workshops and housing sprang up at its base. To conquer the vertical ascent, a 700-step wooden staircase was constructed, zigzagging up to the mountain's summit. A cable car was installed to transport heavy tools and materials, a crucial lifeline for the construction effort. At the peak, a winch house was built, from which operators could raise and lower workers in small bosun's chairs to any point on the cliff. With the infrastructure in place, the team was finally ready to begin the monumental task of carving the first head. The process began with a symphony of controlled destruction. Using precisely placed dynamite, workers blasted away large chunks of surface rock to create the rough, egg-like shape of a head. Once the general form was achieved, workers used pneumatic drills to sculpt the finer features of the faces. This led to the next technical challenge: handling heavy, vibrating 30-kilo drills while dangling hundreds of meters in the air. This required an incredible feat of engineering to supply power. The drills ran on compressed air, so a powerhouse was built at the mountain's base. It contained 3 massive compressors, powered by electricity from a local gold mine, solving the energy problem in this remote location. A 600-meter pipeline carried the compressed air from the powerhouse up the mountain to another building on the summit, from which hoses could connect to up to 16 hammers at once. To control the bucking hammers, workers developed their own techniques, sometimes using chains as footholds for stability. But the biggest question remained: with no artistic experience, how did these miners know exactly where to drill? Borglum couldn't use a projector like at Stone Mountain because Rushmore's 3D faces made it impossible. He needed a new method to scale up his model. He found inspiration in the ancient Greeks, who used a pointing machine to create exact replicas of sculptures. The pointing machine works by measuring specific points on an original sculpture in relation to a fixed reference, then transferring those measurements to guide the carving of a copy. This method works for 1:1 copies, but for Rushmore, Borglum had to invent a way to scale the measurements up,